Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday to you. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. And the weather has been cooperating, so there's no storms, thank goodness, that we had a bunch of times in a row in the past month and a half. As always, I really appreciate you listening, and I really hope you do learn something. And again, this isn't about you joining Trimline or calling me. It's really to be educated, to feel motivated, to make even one tiny little change. And I do obviously have a very special guest today because our views are really pretty much alike, and I enjoy that. And he definitely has more knowledge on certain things, and obviously I have more knowledge on nutrition. But thank you so much, Coach Brex, for being here today. I appreciate it. Please say hello to everyone.
Hey, how's everybody doing? First of all, Nadia, thank you so much for having me on. I'm always blessed to be on here, so thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it because I love our conversations. It makes the show considerably more fun than
Yes.
me just talking to myself. That's always gets boring, and probably bores the crap out of Art over there, right? Art, you're like, oh gosh, okay, here she goes the whole time again. But so I'm very, very grateful. And we and I talk on the breaks. We talk about even out when we see each other somewhere. But I was telling you about how I watch reels, and I've been lifting weights, and we talked about that because you're definitely more knowledgeable in that than I think than I am, and I don't want to hurt myself, right? I was a personal trainer before I opened up my business. That was like 18 years ago, so I haven't done personal training for 18 years, right? And it's crazy how time goes by, but I still like look at reels and look things up, and I was telling you that over time I feel like I'm getting stronger. But the days that you work out, how many days in a row, and then we started talking about sunshine. So I was doing some research, saw a reel, which was very interesting, that are 5 things that are really, really important in a person's life, right? And you and I will talk about that, and which is one of them is I think pretty controversial in the sense of the sun. So it's sun, the sun itself. So sun, air, nutrition, exercise, and sleep. Okay, so those are like the really 5 things, and I really feel like they're kind of important 5 because if you look at your hand, you have 5 fingers, right? So let's say if your palm of your hand, that's you as the person. Those are 5 things that are really affecting you, and really helps you to kind of be more well-rounded, right? So the first one you and I talked about was sunshine, and I love the sun, I absolutely do. But people really worry about getting cancer, melanoma when it comes to the sun. But you said that's not true.
Yeah, I think we really demonize the sun, and it's been demonized way too much. When it's really the object of why we go outside. Let's be honest. On those cloudy days, people are always slower to get moving. Rainy days, people are slower to get moving. But when it's sunny out, even if it's cold out, they're more willing to get up, move a little bit, get going, and stuff like
Very
that.
true.
And I think that's one of the reasons that I think I'm always fascinated by how many people, oh, you can't go out. You have to put all this stuff on you to block the sun. But yet, if you look at it, the majority of us are vitamin D deficient.
Very.
Where do we get our vitamin D from?
The sun.
The sun, the primary source is our sun. So if we're blocking that, no wonder all of us are sick. And why would I want to lather myself in sunscreen, which is chemical after chemical after chemical? And now they're coming out, and I don't know if you've seen it, it's been out for about a year or two. So many sunscreens are getting pulled because they know that there are chemicals in them. Yeah. But yet these people are getting cancer and they're blaming it on the sun. It's not the sun, it's what we're doing to our bodies. So if you look at the rate of skin cancer really took off in the 70s. Mm-hmm. Now everybody says because we diagnose it then. Everybody always blames it on the diagnosis all of a sudden because now we have better detection. But when did sunscreen come out? In the 70s.
Oh.
So we started lathering ourselves because we were told the sun is bad for us, which I don't know why anybody would say that. Like I said, at vitamin D, it had to be an agenda somewhere. And then we all of a sudden start getting all this skin cancer. But then also what came out around that time too? Seed oils. So our bodies, everything we were eating was seed oil, where it once was, lard, yeah, butter, natural stuff, tallow, great stuff for us, coconut oil, stuff that we should be taking in. Then we started using the seed oil, like the vegetable oil, the cottonseed, the grapeseed, all the crap that we shouldn't be using, started getting in there. Well, that mixes with your body. When the sun hits that, it causes problems. It causes chemical reactions in the body, and then all of a sudden we start getting cancer. So kids ask me, well, you don't put sunscreen on, why not? And I said, well, here's what I do. I don't think being out in the sun and getting burned is the smartest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's dumb.
Correct.
But I'm out in the sun for a while, and then what I do is I layer. Then I'll put, a sweatshirt on, or maybe a long sleeve shirt. I'll wear a hat, you know what I mean, to block the sun where I don't want it anymore. And they're like, ooh, I never thought of that. I just throw sunscreen on. I'm like, yes, that's the difference, because I want to make sure that my body's still natural and I'm not putting this stuff on. So I'll just put on longer clothes. Yes, it is hot. I agree with you.
Yes.
It is sometimes
You
uncomfortable.
can't tell that to a menopausal woman to be like, go put a sweatshirt on and go in the heat. You know,
Yeah.
I'll come back and like half my body weight will be sweat out, right? And then I'll gain it again the next day, but it's not fun. My clothes will not look good, let me tell you
Yeah.
that, okay?
Yes, but I just do it differently. And over all those years, I see a massive difference in how I feel. There's even studies coming out that talking about people with eyesight. If you go out for the first, I think it's 45 minutes, and you look directly into the sun at that time, because that is the best sunlight. The first 45 minutes and the last 45 minutes of the day are the healthiest part of the sun. We all talk about certain rays and stuff like that, how harmful they are, like blue lights and things like that.
The red rays, yeah.
Exactly. The red lights are the one there, but that's the one that's being emitted in those early and later times, which are very, very healing and very healthy for us. So most of the people, when they go out, if you go outside and you stand in the sun or walk around and do something in the sun at that time, you'll tend to have more energy. You'll tend to feel better, because that's the time when the sun is actually doing its job, is healing you. And it's not going to burn you because it's not at the high peak yet. So I think we got to start taking a different approach to the sunlight, because it is actually very beneficial. You got to be smart with it. I'm not saying just go out there
The hours
for
and
4 or
hours in
5
it.
hours,
Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
not
Yeah.
not protect yourself. But to throw sunscreen on like people do is just, it just blows my mind. You have to read what's in it. Now, you were talking about, I think you put a natural one
Yeah,
on.
I do.
There are natural ones, which I think are great. They
Very
tend
expensive.
not, yes, they are. But what's more expensive? Me having
No,
cancer?
I'm saying like, but
And there.
there's no. I don't think it's necessary to make it that expensive. But
Well-
I think they just do it because I truly believe they don't want us to be healthy.
Correct.
I'm telling you, like,
I agree.
I when I go out to eat, if I order a salad, it's more expensive than me getting a burger, fries, and you know my salad, which should not be more expensive than a burger and
Correct.
fries, is more expensive.
Correct.
And it was like, well, why should I pay $15-$20 for a salad when I can pay? I mean, some of the salads right now are $20-$25. I don't know. It's crazy right now how much they're charging for salads. And then let's say your burger with the fries and all that is like say 18 or 20.
Correct.
You know, so I get what it is, and it is more expensive. But I'm like, you know what? I want something a little bit more natural, and I'm dark complected, right? So. And we talked about the natural ones make you really nice and white and pasty, so it looks really,
It's
really
harder
bad
to
on me.
absorb in, yes, but it blocks what you want, but it's not giving you the harmful chemicals, and that's what people have to start realizing. When you put that on your kids, you are putting chemicals on. That is what you're doing. Now you could say, "Hey, I'm helping my kid in the future," but are you? If kids are still getting cancer and kids are still getting this, and we're still getting it, and people who put suntan lotion all the time, then there should be some guarantee by these sunscreen people, like, hey, you'll never get cancer if you wear my product all the time. But they don't. They don't ever guarantee it, because they know that you're still going to probably get it because of being in the sun and being the sun,
The ray.
going off, chemicals, things with all the chemicals that are in these sunscreens.
And I love the fact that you said the first 45 and the last 45, because this morning I ended up just sitting out and having my coffee, in the sun, because I do want to get a little more sun. Now, obviously everybody wants to get tan, but mine's more like, I'm naturally a little tan to begin with, but I really do know and understand the importance of sun, right? And like you said, I'm not saying the same thing, I'm not go be in it for 4 or 5 hours, because I have done that too. And believe it or not, when we're in the sun that long, it actually makes you tired.
Correct.
Right? It makes you tired, and you get a little headache, because the sun's really beaming down on you for 4 or 5 hours. So there's always a limit, right? There's always doing things in moderation. So being in it for 45 minutes, half an hour, 20 minutes even in the morning, I think it's fantastic for the body and for you to be able to be healthy. I mean, I was telling you a story, and I don't know the details of it. I did save the reel. I'll send it. I told you I'm going to send it to you. But they were talking about this kid, like 14 years old, that they gave him, like, he had some sort of blood disorder that he was dying, and they gave him 2 days to live, and they put his bed out in the sun, and totally in the sun, and they're basically, his dying wish was, I want to be out in the sun. And they said by the second day to the third day, all his hemoglobin and whatever the diagnosis was getting better, and they didn't change anything other than him being in the sun, which to me, that is absolutely incredible. Like, we have something so natural, we don't have to pay for, we don't have to do whatever, we just need to take time which I know people just don't get it. They don't, they're like, no, I don't have time in the morning to go sit out for 15 minutes. Yes, you do. You do
Yep.
have time in the morning to go out and sit. Get up a little bit earlier, or take some time, or drink your coffee out there, or do something. And then that 15 minutes will change your entire life. So the sun is really important. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about other stuff, because even if you're kind of like, oh yeah, my son, I've heard of that, that gives you cancer. We're telling you that is not the case, okay? So you definitely can get more information. Go to mytrimline.com, book a free chat, whether you want to lose weight, come off the GLP-1s, transition off of the nutrition, and you want to really get down to core fixing issues in pain and joints. You got to reach out to Coach Brex. And Coach, how can they get in touch with you?
You can reach out to me, Dave, DAVE, at E as in Edward, X as in X-ray, S as in Sam, P as in Paul.biz. So Dave at EXSP.biz.
Excellent. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.